We count our steps, track our sleep cycles, and log our daily output. In modern life, we try to optimize every waking hour to squeeze out maximum efficiency, treating our own bodies like machines that require constant tuning. This obsession stems from a model that views us as Homo economicus. Under this lens, your worth collapses entirely into instrumental utility. You are valuable strictly because of the profit, labor, or data you can reliably produce. We no longer need external managers to crack the whip. We have internalized the pressure. We willingly exploit ourselves, working long past the point of necessity under the exhausting illusion that relentless productivity equals self-improvement. During the Industrial Revolution, critics pointed out that this intense madness for work physically and intellectually stunted the human spirit. By turning workers into components of a factory line, mindlessly repeating a single task all day, society prioritized national wealth over human development. Philosopher Bertrand Russell diagnosed the virtuousness of work as a mechanism of social control. He argued the ethical obligation to labor is an artificial construct inherited from a time before industrial automation, causing immense harm by forcing us into a miserable cycle of overproduction. When a culture measures value strictly through market utility, human life becomes a transactional exchange. If you are defined entirely by your output, the system will logically treat you as disposable the moment you fail to generate profit. So if illness, age, or a simple shift in the market permanently removes your capacity to work, what exactly is left to justify your existence? To answer that, we have to look to axiology, the philosophical study of value. Here we find a sharp distinction between what is good as a means to an end and what possesses intrinsic value, something entirely immune to a price tag. Immanuel Kant argued that a price means something can be exchanged for an equivalent. Human dignity admits no equivalent. In Kantian ethics, your value is an inherent property of rational agency. Even if a person were powerless to act, their goodwill would still shine with full intrinsic worth. Under this framework, an individual's value remains absolute and whole, even if they lack the health or the resources to carry out their goals. However, the capacity for reason doesn't develop in a vacuum. From infancy to adulthood, our selfhood is built through a biological and linguistic matrix of other people. To imagine the individual as a perfectly autonomous island is to ignore the actual history of how humans come to exist and find meaning. Recognizing dignity provides a moral floor, but human worth remains abstract until it interacts with a larger network. Meaning emerges at the intersection where a person meets their world. The Southern African philosophy of Ubuntu suggests that selfhood and identity are predicated entirely on the existence of the community. As Archbishop Desmond Tutu explained, the core axiom of Ubuntu translates to, "A person is a person through other people." This framework shifts from a competitive I versus you mindset toward a cooperative I and we reality. Here, your value is the active, daily maintenance of the social fabric through virtues like compassion and social justice. Philosopher Hannah Arendt expanded this interconnectedness into the public sphere. She argued our unique human value is established through what she called action. Action is the capacity to engage in speech and begin new things among equals. It is separate from the physical labor of making goods. In Arendt's view, we disclose who we are through our participation in the public realm, fueled by the rejuvenation we find in our private lives. Worth lives in the active, daily maintenance of the social fabric. It is a performance of care and participation that must be renewed with every interaction. Even these philosophies assume that the world equals the human world. But zooming out, reality expands to include the entire planetary ecosystem. Frameworks like deep ecology and Taoism suggest that the non-human world has intrinsic worth, independent of our utility. Here, ultimate value is found in restraint and wu-wei, or effortless action, the quiet power of aligning with nature rather than forcing it to change. We can push that boundary to its physical limit, the observable universe. Spinoza called this sub specie aeternitatis, viewing reality from eternity. Within this vast expanse, daily anxieties appear as vanishingly small episodes. Here, our obsession with proving value fades into comical insignificance. This cosmic silence is the foundation for an existentialist realization. Because the universe gives us no predetermined essence, we are handed the absolute freedom to create meaning through our goals and authentic choices. To manage this heavy burden of freedom, psychiatrist Viktor Frankl developed logotherapy. He observed that even in the most extreme conditions, human beings are primarily driven by a will to meaning. Frankl identified 3 avenues for generating this meaning: creating a work, experiencing something deeply, like art or love, or taking a dignified stance toward unavoidable suffering. Ultimately, a human life is a constituent part of a valuable world. Our true worth reflects the vast scale of the cosmic fabric we occupy, completely transcending any short-term metric of production.